You are creating content, you're publishing episodes, but you're not sure if you are hitting the mark. And this constant guessing, this feeling of not knowing leads to burnout, wasted resources, and a quiet, gnawing fear that your unique voice and your incredible value are being lost or wasted. You're not getting any real constructive, honest feedback from the people who actually matter, and that is your potential paying customers. This is the echo chamber effect.
Creating, reorganized, creating, reorganized, creating, reorganized, creating, reorganized. If you are a new or an aspiring founder of your small business and have no time to waste or really struggle to do your social media marketing, you will enjoy our Creating Reorganized show. In my day job as a psychology professor, I teach my bachelor and master students in real life how to reorganize processes in a goal-directed and future-proof way in companies. And that's what I have done for a living as a former IT strategy consultant. For my own career coaching business on the side, I can only dedicate a fraction of my time because, I prioritize care work for my little children. I face the same or similar challenges like all small business owners. So I applied all my experience and knowledge to create my other video podcast, Postdoc Transformation Show, to streamline my social media marketing and to boost sales of my coaching, e-courses, and affiliate products or services. I strategically capitalize on professional tools to scale my impact according to my vision of life. Listen and subscribe to this Creating Reorganized show so you will learn to do the same for your own business, to build the know, like, and trust factor, and to boost sales of your services or products. Please also ask your business-specific questions because for the next seasons, I envision interview episodes with aspiring and new founders like you if you want to get your Creating Reorganized according to your vision of life. As in every episode, at the end, I will wrap everything up from a psychological method, theory, or concept point of view. So stay tuned until the end of this episode, especially if you are my bachelor and master student in real life. I would love for you to take notes and maybe even already recognize my arguments. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, and now welcome to our show, Creating Reorganized.
Dear Creating Reorganizer, welcome back to another episode of the Creating Reorganized show, the video podcast for the business owner who wants to market the services and products 24/7, 365 without burnout. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, and today we will dive into market research, as we have already alluded to in the previous episode from last week. We want to use our business promotional video podcast for market research. So we attract leads who are engaged as a community and then can provide honest feedback for early stage business modeling. So you don't need to guess. And in worst case, throw your money out of the window. Well, this is about something that every business owner, whether you're starting out or you've been in the game for years, secretly fears. Are we just talking to ourselves? Is my idea really brilliant and will I make money with it? Well, I have a confession to make. It's a confession that cuts right through to the core of this show, okay? So my other video podcast, the Postdoc Transformation Show for the scientist leaping into business, today my showroom for how to do this video podcasting game that I teach you now in this Creating Reorganized show. But that was not the first intention. I believe I should always take my own medicine. So I want to make things work and I remain teachable. This is why I'm sharing this with you. So for the Postdoc Transformation Show, I was so excited. I decided to interview these brilliant, successful women with PhDs who are now thriving as managing directors and CEOs. But the thing is, what I thought they were inspiring, I found out they were not relatable, and that actually hurt my podcasting statistics, okay? So these women are my personal mentors, or I have followed them on social media, and honestly, I'm a fan of them. They are underrepresented, they're underprivileged, they've beaten the odds, and I wanted my own community of postdoc transformers to learn from them. Because these other women who have successfully leaped from science into business are now managing multi-million euro decisions or enterprises even. They are trailblazers. And I thought, this is gold. We are sitting at the table, and now can open up the door and invite my postdoc transformers to sit at the same table. That was my intention. However, of course, I did not ask my listeners. I poured my heart and soul into those interviews. I prepared for weeks. The conversations really felt like storytelling from behind the scenes of what true long-term success looks like. It was such an honor to interview all these business executives sharing secrets, their journeys with my audience of the postdoc transformers. I was giving them what I thought was the ultimate gift. And then the retention rates came in. Well, so the analytics, that is cold hard data. And I'm analytical enough to understand, but emotionally it was hard to take. So my retention rates for all of these interview guest episodes absolutely plummeted from my usual 100% weekly listeners. My audience, the postdoc transformers, were not resonating with these interviews because I had put my own interests above theirs. They weren't relatable yet to my listeners, the postdoc transformers, who are really in the trenches of earning their PhD or continuing in their early postdoc years. They wanted to have the daily experts who are able to survive the struggles that they can relate to. They needed practical steps into the business, tactical advice, not inspiration from someone who already made it. My audience was screaming, give us the how-to, not just the success story. And I thought that I had given enough how-to knowledge, but one of the other responses was, I'm coming to your podcast to listen to you, and I don't know whether the person that you have brought to the show is worth my listening time. So sometimes it was a good fit, often it wasn't. So taken together, that was the moment when I realized that I was not listening. I was just broadcasting, right? So the story goes even deeper, and it's something that I've seen happening to so many of my business owner friends and clients as well. A few years ago, the demand for coaching scientists leaping into business surged. And I would say it's still surging. It was a clear and ripe market. But then, as it often goes with trends, the market changed. I also had universities in the US, but they all cut their budgets. So my efforts in diversity was also cut. So it was all of that. I would say the well started to dry up, okay? It wasn't that the need disappeared. Scientists in academia still need guidance, but it was that the academic world, higher education itself, had changed. Graduate schools, universities, and research institutions finally woke up to the fact that their PhD students needed help with career transitions. So they started upskilling people internally, and I can understand that from a business point of view, right? So you cannot always hire some external help at a high price when you could also just upskill your own people, PhD holders, in grad school programs as coaches. These are people are typically career guidance counselors for academic, but also non-academic careers. They are good coaches. So for me, that created a profound ethical dilemma. My core audience was now precarious scientists if I wanted to go on with my serving them. Living on temporary contracts with little disposable income, for me, it felt like, no, I don't want to take money from them. When they could get something for free from their institution, that really felt ethically unacceptable. So my business model was in conflict with my own values. I tried to side with my postdoc transformers, offering a recurrent 50% commission split. You can see that on my website still. For getting me booked at their graduate school, they would get a recurrent 50% commission split. But their school had tough budget cuts and delivered a somewhat similar service at no additional cost by their internal career counselors. I understand that from a business point of view. So this led me to a complete reorganization of my business. I had to stop selling to the people I was serving. Even though I solved the pain points of scientists leaping into business, because without the return of investment, that business model is not sustainable for me. It's not the right process anymore, right? So that realization was painful. And in one season break, I looked at my investment so far to use my postdoc transformation show as a business marketing tool to get booked at grad schools. I looked at my return on investment, and at the same time, I looked at the bigger picture. And my direct messages on LinkedIn gave me a new direction. Other business owners were asking me, Eleonore, how are you building this audience? How are you marketing your services with this video podcast? Your social clips look amazing. Can you teach me how to do that? Can you do that for me? All of my podcasting tool vendors provided me with an affiliate link to share, and I had to qualify for that, right? So I remembered my old days as an IT strategy consultant. I was really happy when I trained business people to use the software that we were developing in-house, and how I was able to sort of like make them want that new features as soon as possible. What I would ever teach them, they wanted that. And I was able to find the right people for friendly user tests and make them advocates in their corporate setting. And then it all fall into place. Serving business owners who want to market their services and products is a much better match for me. That was the seed for this show, Creating Reorganized, and it's the very foundation of my new business model. I had to pivot completely, and arguably, my ability to leap into a new career, etc., has helped me tremendously to make this decision really quickly. So I stopped selling to one group and started serving another. If you want to think about it from a big picture perspective, check out my business readiness quiz, where I encourage you to think about the pain points of your ideal client avatar, the total addressable market, pricing strategies, operation and delivery models, etc. And guess what? I made this quiz with Typeform. This is an example for developing a new business model for a new target group with your video podcast. So let's talk about being trapped in an echo chamber, okay? So you are a business owner, you are busy, cost sensitive, and want the absolute best return on every single hour you invest. I totally get it. You're trying to showcase your products and services, but you're afraid that you're just shooting in the dark. And guess what? I have actually dedicated an episode on how to best showcase your products and services. If you haven't listened to that or want to reflect on that from today's point of view, I will link that in the show notes. So you are creating content, you're publishing episodes, but you're not sure if you are hitting the mark. And this constant guessing, this feeling of not knowing, leads to burnout, wasted resources, and a quiet, gnawing fear that your unique voice and your incredible value are being lost or wasted. And there's the echo chamber effect. You create content based on what you think your audience wants. That can be misled. Your colleagues tell you it's a great idea. Your family is super supportive. When you ask AI, you get even more cheerleading. You get a few likes on social media, and you start to believe, wow, these ideas are even better than they are. So you're just hearing your own thoughts echoing back at you, and you're not getting any real constructive, honest feedback from the people who actually matter, and that is your potential paying customers. Especially in today's AI age, the written word is cheap and, to be honest, unbelievable in some contexts. So when I show my voice and also my face in my communication, it has a human trust building element that you need to test your business ideas. Remember when I said earlier, friendly user, or even maybe call it community test? That term is not my term. It's a well-established market research and IT development concept. Both terms imply that you need people who genuinely like you, who want to see you win, and hence take time to listen, review, test, and give you feedback and the support you need to succeed. That is why social media is such an important aspect of your business promotion and video podcasts. I have Creating Reorganizers and postdoc transformers who like my posts on LinkedIn TikTok and Instagram, and most of them are not and have never been my students in real life. They are all over the world. I'm just teaching in Düsseldorf, Germany. So I can attribute their effort for my work to my video podcasting and that they like me. Most podcast hosting platforms make it really hard for your listeners and you to engage with each other. And now you say, oh my God, I don't have time to be active on social media and I don't even like that. I get that. To be short, I use Metrical and I will pick that up later. To return to just publishing your business promotion video podcasts and also on all major podcast players in the absence of social media activities, your podcast becomes a monologue. I'm just talking into the microphone instead of a dialogue. I'm not listening to you. You are listening to me. And whether you learn what I teach you and implement, I don't know. So let me share. A monologue does not build trust. It doesn't boost sales, and it certainly does not qualify leads. You want that, though. So what you need is a strategic, doable, and measurable way to turn your video podcast into your ultimate research lab. You need a system that's scalable, measurable, and you need a way to do it all without adding another 20 hours of work to your already packed week or hiring a virtual assistant for that. So the good news is a video podcast is the perfect tool for that. It's the ultimate solution for the problem of a shifting market and the threat of AI invisibility. Because a podcast, especially a video podcast, harnesses the power of a fundamental psychological model or a principle. That's the mere exposure effect, according to the social scientist, Professor Dr. Science, and that should ring a bell for all my students in real life. And I will link to that in the show notes. The mere exposure effect has been studied for decades. Simply states that the more you are exposed to something, the more you will like it. The more familiar you become with a person, a product, or a brand, the more you, as an ideal client, tend to trust it. So think about it. When you show up every single week, maybe across a season, consistently with valuable content, your audience sees your face, hears your voice, and benefits from your expertise. Over time, that consistency builds an unconscious sense of familiarity and trust. This is the reason why founders of a small business need a video podcast to build trust and boost sales from the get-go. You're not just a faceless brand or another AI-generated voice. You are a real person with a real point of view, and you become a fixture in their lives, a trusted friend, a helpful guide. And when they need to buy a service or a product in your niche, who do you think they go to? That AI-generated ad that popped up once, or the person they feel they know, like, and trust? The one who has been showing up for them week after week. And do you know what information will boost your listeners' trust? When you share with them your why. If they can identify with your why, you have them on your side. If you want to revisit your why, please listen to our episode, Why Founders of a Small Business Need a Video Podcast to Build Trust and Boost Sales, as linked in the show notes. There is a reason why that was our first episode. And I'm here to show you exactly how to do that. The first step is to stop broadcasting and start listening. Your video podcast is not just a stage for your ideas, it's a living lab. It's time to turn your audience from passive listeners into most valuable business partners. It's about co-creation, making them accountable for their own learning journey. So let's talk about the feedback loop. This is where my story becomes your roadmap. My background in industrial and occupational psychology and my years as an IT strategy consultant at Accenture, Germany, have taught me systems save you from burnout. And my own entrepreneurial journey has shown me that the best systems are the ones that make your business smarter, not just busier. They are the ones that harness technology to automate the mundane and free up your time for the visionary work or serving your customers. So let's turn your attention to the actionable plan. This isn't just theory, it's a blueprint for building a resilient AI-resistant business. And we've got two phases, very simple yet powerful. The first phase is about using your video podcast to actively listen to your audience and turn every single episode into a data gathering goldmine opportunity. And the second one is about using that data to co-create your next product or service, so it's essentially pre-sold before you even launch. And maybe you scrape that because no one buys into that. But you have not spent a lot of money launching already, right? Let's dive into phase one, the feedback loop. And the psychological principle that underpins this entire strategy is the principle of reciprocity. It's simple. When you give something of value, people feel a natural, unconscious pull to give something back in return. And for us business owners, the value we give is the free, insightful content in our video podcast. We show up every week, we provide real solutions to real problems, we share our expertise, and we give it all away for free. In return, we get the most valuable currency in business, that's our audience's attention, your attention, engagement, and your honest feedback, dear Creating Reorganizer, is what is invaluable for me. I get questions so that I can turn them into relevant episodes of the Creating Reorganized show. So with you, the Creating Reorganizer, I am building a client network so that I can use that as a test bed for providing services that are really needed. So building a client network really with our business promotional video podcast by giving and not just by selling. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to set up the system for yourself. So step one is ask strategic, open-ended questions in every episode. Most people end their podcast episodes with a generic "thanks for listening," and leave a comment, and that's the equivalent of a store owner standing silently at the front door. It does not invite conversation. You need to be strategic. You need to be an active guide who opens the dialogue. And your questions should be specific and tied directly to the core problem you're solving in that episode. They should be designed to give you market research for a winning business promotion video podcast. So let's imagine you are a professional organizer. You've just done an episode on how to declutter your digital life and find your most important documents in under 10. Having a naming convention would help. So instead of ending with a generic, "let me know what you think," you could ask, "I have shared my best tips like naming convention for organizing your digital clutter. So what was the one thing that feels overwhelming? Is it your email inbox or desktop folders? Or do you have 10,000 pictures on your phone and you cannot delete them because all of them are your darlings? So let me know in the comments and send me a DM." So you are prompting them to think about that and to write a comment that either picks up what you just said or brings up something new to the table. And that is pure market research gold. See the difference? You've just learned the single biggest pain points for your audience, and that is a long tail keyword in disguise. You have just discovered the exact language they use. If three people say they cannot bring themselves to delete their photos, well, guess what your next episode should be about, or maybe your next e-course. So this is the very same strategic shift I made. When I was so lost in my own head with the post-doc transformation interviews, I thought, well, I started this. Maybe I need to become a better interviewer, or maybe I need to promote them even more. But then at the end of the day, that was not sustainable. And I started listening. When I asked in my DMs, the answers were clear. They pointed me to my new audience, small business owners. So the well hadn't dried up. I was just looking in the wrong place. And the map to the new well was in my listeners' feedback. It took me such a long time to understand why my LinkedIn reach has actually decreased, but I get so many invites, contact requests from people outside of the academic bubble. So I got likes and comments from bigger LinkedIn accounts who are clearly not scientists, but rather are podcast guests, podcasters, speakers, consultants. So it was a huge shift business directors, business owners. All right, are you ready for step 2? Leverage your own show notes and your digital habitat. That is your real estate. Your video podcast on a platform like Podbean is the central hub, but to be honest, your audience is everywhere, not just on Podbean. They're on LinkedIn, on Pinterest, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And you have to meet them where they are and ask the same questions in their digital habitat, not just where you hang out. And this is where the magic of a social media management tool like Metricool comes in. You can batch create your posts for the entire week or even months, or in my case, even seasons, and schedule them to go out automatically. This is a crucial step to avoid burnout. You set it up once and it works for you. You don't have to be on your phone every day, constantly posting, and the system handles the heavy lifting, allowing you to focus on the high-level strategy and creation. And for LinkedIn, you can share a clip from your video podcast with a professional sounding question. Something like, we're talking about lead generation today. Is your biggest challenge attracting new leads, or is it turning the ones you have into paying customers? For Instagram, you can use a short reel with an energetic visual asking your audience to share their behind-the-scenes struggles. What's one thing in your business that feels totally disorganized? No judgment here. For Pinterest, if you have a visually driven business like a handmade goods shop on Etsy or Shopify or something like that, you can create a beautiful pin that links to your episode and ask, what's the number one thing that you struggle to find in your niche that you wish was a product you could buy? And that is direct market research. This consistent presence managed by a tool like Metricool harnesses the mere exposure effect by science. The more your audience sees your face and your brand across different platforms in a recognizable way, the more familiar they become and the more they trust you. Right? So I cannot tell you enough that you have to have a brand voice, a brand image, brand colors, corporate identities. And this is how you can build a brand for you as a founder. It's a strategic, scalable, and measurable marketing and sales result for your business. It's not just about getting more followers. It's not vanity metrics that count for me. It's about building a foundation of trust that will eventually convert into sales. Step number 3, you can set up a survey for deeper insights. Now, the public comments and DMs are great, but sometimes people are shy, especially, like I said already, with my postdoc transformation show, no PhD student wants to unveil that they're not here for the academic route. No one would say, I'm just here to back the PhD and run as soon as possible. So they don't want to air their struggles out in the open because it could backlash a lot. And that's why you need a more private, intentional way to gather data. And this is where a simple, well-designed survey comes in. In your show notes, your email signature, in your social media bios, you can add a dedicated link and you can say, do you want to help me shape the future of this show? Click here and tell me your biggest PhD completion challenges. And the key here is to use a tool that makes it incredibly easy for people to respond and for you to get the data without any friction. And that's why I love Typeform. It's not a clunky, boring survey. It's a beautifully designed, engaging form that feels more like a conversation. You can set it up, copy, and adapt it in minutes. You can ask questions like, what's the biggest problem you're looking to solve in the next 90 days? And this tells you what they have already paid for. What specific topic would make you drop everything and listen to a podcast about? What's your single biggest challenge with consistent content creation? This allows you to go beyond the surface level engagement and get the real, raw pain points of your audience. This data is pure gold. It's the kind of information that turns a struggling business into a thriving one. It's how you can qualify your leads and convert them into paying customers by knowing exactly what they need. Let's go to step 4. Automate the data flow, for example, with ActiveCampaign. And that is my ultimate secret weapon for the small business owner who fears burnout. Active Campaign is not just for the small business owner. It's used by corporates. It's a mighty, powerful customer relationship management tool. And our goal is to build a set and forget system that works for you 24/7, 365. My work as an IT strategy consultant has taught me that automation is my only way to lead an entrepreneurship family-life balance. So you can set up a simple automation in Active Campaign that is triggered when someone fills out your Typeform survey. So let's imagine in your survey, you ask about the biggest fear. If a listener checks the box for "I'm terrified that I lose because of AI," your Active Campaign automation can tag them as AI fear. And then you can send them a personalized email that says, "Hey, I hear you. The fear of AI is real. And here's a quick checklist to help you make your skills AI resistant. This is your free content." And you already created that. But now you are serving to the people who are really afraid of AI. And if you're thinking of what else could I create for free or repurpose like this, you can also listen back to one of our previous episodes about free content versus paid offers, the best mix for your video podcast, as linked in the show notes. All right. You can also start a short email sequence that over the next few days provides more free tips and then introduces your paid offer. Maybe a workshop on becoming the future-proof founder. Should I offer that? Let me know in the comments. So this is how you can create a sales funnel with your video podcast, okay? So you're not manually sending emails. You're not scrambling to figure out what to say to whom. The system is doing the work for you, serving your audience with exactly what they need at the right time, while you are cooking dinner for your kids, picking them up for school, or just study with them. You are strategically and intentionally building a trusted relationship, and you're letting the technology handle the rest. And this is what I mean when I say you need to balance human and AI efforts in your business promotion video podcast. And guess what? I have also a previous episode for that. If you're interested, it's linked in the show notes. Okay, so that was the feedback loop. It's the engine for listening. You've gathered all the feedback. You've used the tools and strategies we've discussed to turn your video podcast into a living, breathing market research. You heard the raw, unedited thoughts and struggles of your audience. You know what keeps them up at night. Now, the next question really is, what do you do with that goldmine of information? And this is where we move into part 2 of our strategic blueprint, the co-creation engine. This is a part of the process that not only builds products and services your audience desperately wants, but also makes them feel a sense of ownership, a deep investment in what you are creating. Because to be honest, as a teacher, I cannot teach you to be the best student you can be. If your heart is not into it, and that same applies to buying something. If they're just buying it to have a solution, but they're not willing to solve the problem by themselves with the tools or the service, the products I give to them, then that solution is a hollow solution. You want your clients to have a sense of ownership, a deep investment in what you are creating for them. And this is your secret weapon against the noise of AI-generated content. AI doesn't want that for your clients, but you want that. So you want to build a genuine collaborative relationship, and AI cannot do that for you. So this phase is powered by 2 profound psychological principles. The first one is the IKEA effect, a brilliant concept that shows people place a disproportionately higher value on products that they have helped create or build. Think about it. When you spend hours assembling that flat pack furniture, you feel a sense of pride and connection to the finished piece because you have invested so much time already into that. Maybe you failed and you had to rebuild it. So you're far less likely to throw it out because you have invested your time and effort into it already. You've gone beyond the point of no return, right? So we're going to harness that same principle to get your audience to invest their time and their input into your next big offering. And the second principle is the scarcity principle. This one popularized by Dr. Robert Cialdini. is all about the power of urgency and limited supply. People are wired to want what they can't have or what they might lose access to. By making your co-creation process a limited time opportunity, you are creating a powerful incentive for your audience to take action and to be part of that now. So this is the psychological lever that you will use to drive early adoption and to prove your concept. That's another term that I have learned in IT, the POC, the proof of concept. You want to test whether your business idea is viable or not. And as a reminder, this co-creation opportunity also qualifies your leads immensely. If that doesn't ring a bell, please listen to How to Qualify Leads and Convert Them into Paying Customers, as linked in the show notes. My own journey is a perfect example of this. When I realized that the well had dried up on my previous business model, I had to pivot. And instead of just creating a new service in a vacuum, I used the feedback from my audience to build it with them. I'm taking the pain points they shared about sales, marketing, burnout, and I'm building a solution that is tailored to their exact needs. I'm not guessing anymore. I am responding. And this is how you turn their problem into your greatest entrepreneurial opportunity. And here's how you can do it too, using your business promotion video podcast, Creating Reorganized style. All right, so let's go. We can talk about the sneak peek episode. Once you have identified a recurring pain point from your feedback loop, dedicate an entire episode to a sneak peek or a thinking out loud session. This is your soft launch. You're not selling anything yet. You're simply exploring a solution to a problem. And here's how you can script it. I've heard from so many of you in my DMs and survey responses that consistent content creation is a huge struggle and you are not at all tech affine. You're all telling me that you want to create a video podcast, or even you have already started a podcast for your business to market your business 24/7, 365, but you just don't have the time. You don't see enough return of invest, and you are ready to pot fade. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you already know, or you can anticipate, because I'm telling you that podcasting is a lot of work and it needs to have a return on invest. And then you can say, well, I've been thinking about this problem and I understand that. So what if I would create a strategic seasonal content planner for you? Or I could show you how to batch record your video podcast in one day. Or what if I would create templates for social media post ideas for platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram? Would you like a mini course on this topic? What's the number one thing that you want me to include? Let me know in the comments. That single episode, a very short one, where you ask them directly what they want or not want, is a masterclass in market validation. And I actually do that also in my lectures. So I'm saying your exam results are directly tied to mine as a professor. So how can I help you to make my lectures best for you? So you're using the IKEA effect to involve your audience in the product design, and you're inviting them into a conversation, asking them to help you build the perfect solution for their problems. And in doing so, you are making them feel invested. So you're not just building your client network with your business promotion and video podcast, but you are turning that network into your product development team. How does that sound? It's a low-risk way to do market research for a winning business promotion video podcast before you even spend a single dollar on production. All right, the next step is the A/B test episode. Let's say your audience is split on a topic. Maybe you have two great ideas and you're unsure whether you want to go with this one or the other idea. And your video podcast is the perfect free tool for an A/B test. So let's imagine you're a financial literacy coach for small businesses. You've heard from your audience that cash flow management is a huge challenge, and you're debating creating a course. You have two potential titles. Number one, Cash Flow Confidence, the simple 3-step system for business owners. Or you can say Money Mindset Mastery, how to conquer your fear of numbers and grow your business. Both titles address a pain point, but which one resonates more with your audience? And you can create two very similar episodes, perhaps maybe on 2 consecutive weeks with 2 different titles and 2 different core themes. You can use your analytics from Podbean and Metricool, and then you can track which episodes gets more downloads, more likes, more comments, and more clicks to your show notes. This is a free, powerful, measurable way to maximize the return of investment of your business promotion video podcast. And that data will tell you exactly which problem your audience is more motivated to solve. It tells you which offer they are more likely to buy. It's the ultimate way to balance human and AI efforts in your business promotion video podcast. You let the data and not just your gut feeling inform your decisions. You can also reflect on the different types of return of investment your business promotion video podcast should have, as linked in the show notes. All right, I already mentioned that previously. I want to dive into that pre-sale power of podcasting, okay? So once you have a clear idea of what to build and you've validated your concept, it's the proof of concept. It's time to leverage the scarcity principle and the IKEA effect to launch a pre-sale. This is the moment when you ask for money, not just for feedback. Okay, you already paid your dues. Now it's time to reap. So this is something that you can say. Because so many of you have told me that you need a solution for consistent content creation, I've listened and I've created it with you in mind, which I call CreatingReorganized. We're launching the beta version of CreatingReorganized on Thinkific. So as a thank you to my loyal listeners who have helped me shape this idea, you can get access to the course at an exclusive 50% off. And this offer is only available for the next 24/7 hours. And I'm only accepting 50 beta members. That's a limited and also plannable budget that you have to have in place as well. So that pre-sale is the ultimate proof of concept. You're asking for a credit card number and you're using the scarcity principle to motivate them. A limited number of spots, and an exclusive discount for your listeners. This is where a tool like Thinkific comes in. You can create a simple sales page in minutes and start taking pre-orders. You can have a wait list. You can have an outline. And only when you have enough pre-orders, you can start building that e-course. But you already have generated the demand for that, right? So I'm using Thinkific for my own e-course offers, and it's a seamless experience. You don't need to be a tech guru. You can set it up quickly, and it's part of my set and forget system. And it allows you to test and monetize your ideas with your business promotion video podcast in real time, all while building a highly engaged community. Your business promotion video podcast can be your market research tool, so you don't have to guess anymore. The strategic business asset that allows you to listen to your audience, to co-create your next great offer and launch it with a powerful pre-sold audience. It's the ultimate way for exponential business growth, goal-directed and without burnout. All right, let's talk about the stakes, the solution, and how you can become a future-proof founder. So we started this journey together, standing in the digital echo chamber, wondering whether we are just talking to ourselves. We talked about the feedback loop so that you can have a co-created business offer that actually solves their problem with them. So I have given you the strategic roadmap now. Wow, that sounds a lot of work. Yes, upfront, not so much in the execution. But maybe you say, I don't know, I'll try to get by without it. Well, your stakes are incredibly high. If you choose to ignore this blueprint, you risk becoming just another voice in a sea of AI-generated noise. You risk spending months, maybe even years, creating products and services no one wants to buy because you are guessing instead of listening. Can you afford that? I don't. There are a lot of opportunity costs when I look at my podcasting business. You risk quiet frustration that leads to burnout and the eventual closure of a business that you have already poured your heart and soul into. You've been already invested in that path. If you don't have a return on invest, how sustainable is that? There was a reason why you started your business, right? So why don't you market it the best way that you can do with market research with a video podcast that promotes your business, your service, and products as you deserve. So when you do that, your reward is a business that is not only profitable, but also deeply resonant with you and your clients. Perfectly aligned with what the market needs because your clients have helped you create that. The reward is higher sales, a loyal community, die-hard fans, and the confidence that comes from knowing you've built something that your customers not only want, but helped you bring into the world. This is the path to become a future-proof founder. Be teachable, listen, get feedback, and co-create with your customers. Here's your actionable prompt. I challenge you right now to take one strategic step. If you already have a podcast for your business, and I know that some of you already have that because you have talked to me in networking events, confined to me that you have a podcast already. We looked at your numbers. Go back to your last 3 episodes and think about one open-ended question you could have asked. And then commit to asking that question in the next 3 episodes. You need to remember yourself. It's a small, manageable step, but it's the first step out of the echo chamber into a thriving, profitable conversation. If you don't have a video podcast yet, these are the questions that are critical in every episode. And this is also why I have so many actionable prompts, but also questions for you so that I am triggering feedback and that helps me to improve the content for the next episodes of the Creating Reorganized show. I'm showing you what I do and teach you how to do that as well. So it's my step to build a business that works for you and not the other way around. So if all of that sounds amazing, but you're worried about the technology, about stitching all the pieces together, I hear you, I know that. While I love IT, my work as a career transition coach has shown me that the tech stack is often the biggest hurdle for creative people. I mean, I know that feeling of wanting to throw my laptop out of the window, right? Last week or 2 weeks ago, I had a problem with my computer and I almost went crazy about that. So that's why I'm a huge fan of building an integrated, automated system that works for you. Creating Reorganized is my set and forget stack, and it allows me to lead an entrepreneurship, family, life balance. These are the same tools that I use. Everything that you listen to or watch in this video podcast is made with the tools I recommend to you. So my video podcast is hosted on Podbean. This is not just the place to put my audio files. It's a powerful hub for distribution, monetization, and analytics. They have a great support system. The team is so nice, and I generally want them win. And that is why I absolutely recommend them over the moon, because they really deserve it. That is why I'm so incredibly proud of being honored to be the first interview guests in their own in-house podcast, Podbean Amplified. Podbean is a partner that helps me to get my message out to the world with a single click. And to grade the episodes themselves, I use Descript. It's an AI-powered editing feature, and it's a game changer for me. I can edit my audio and video by simply editing the text, which saves me hours. And to be honest, the studio sound, it's my ultimate tool to avoid burnout in the production phase. And it's part of how I balance human and AI efforts in my business. To run my social media and to get my message in front of the right people, I use Metricool. It allows me to promote my video podcast on social media and drive traffic to my business without being on my phone all day. And as a mom of 2 kids, this is really a blessing. I can schedule my posts on platforms like LinkedIn, Pinterest in one go, so my brand is always consistently visible. And this consistent exposure and presence is what builds that trust we talked about, thanks to the mirror exposure effect. To power my feedback loop and create a sales funnel with my video podcast, I use Typeform and Active. They are a dynamic duo. Typeform gives me beautiful conversational stories that get me the qualitative data and quantitative data I need. An Active Campaign takes the data and automatically tags my subscribers, sends them a personalized email sequence, and helps me nurture them all the way to a sale, all while I'm doing something else. It's the ultimate AI-resistant asset because it's a smart system to connect with other humans at scale. Finally, to test and monetize my ideas with my business promotion video podcast, I use Thinkific. Okay, so I know that some of you don't have an e-course and will never have. So I cut that short. It's where I host my e-courses and workshops. So these tools are not just a random collection of tools. They are thoughtfully selected and integrated behind the scenes, under the hood, so to speak. And it allows me to be a living example of a woman who capitalizes on technology to build a successful business without burnout. And maybe you say, okay, I now know which tools you use, Eleonore. I'm actually not keen on learning how to use them. And I don't have the time to use them. You are tech savvy, maybe I'm not. So can you do this for me? So if all of that sounds amazing, the strategy, the principles, the tools, you want this, I hear you loud and clear. And that's exactly why I am excited to share that we are putting the finishing touches on our premium done-for-you Creating Reorganized podcasting service. If you know me, I can only do this in my lecture-free time as a professor. Okay? So that is also competing with my time for my kids, because my lecture-free times are often the school breaks for my kids. So I really need to focus laser sharp on what I can offer. And I want to deliver what I have offered and also what you will hopefully buy. So I'm building this service for the established small business owner who knows that you need a video podcast to build trust and boost sales. But your time is your most valuable asset, just like mine. So you understand that you're a visionary, not a video editor. You're an expert in your field, but not a social media manager. And our service will handle the entire process for you. We will think of your podcast title, your podcast episode, structure, your season, the podcast scripts. We will record you and we will produce the episodes so that you can shine. So your show will be hitting the mark. The professional production and editing I can do with my team. You will get your message in front of your ideal clients 24/7. We're going to build the feedback loop and the co-creation engine. We will build the system, CreatingReorganized, so that your business can thrive without you having to be the one in the weeds of your content creation process. It's your ultimate ticket to scale your video podcast for exponential business growth, goal-directed, and without burnout. We can do that in Germany if you're nearby. I can do this in English if you're far away. We'll be sharing more details soon, so make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter in the show notes. I have to be honest. It takes a long time up front. Once it works and runs like a machine, I can think of picking up 2 or 3 new clients in the next lecture break. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, you have a unique voice and a brilliant point of view. You are a future-proof founder because you are here listening to me. You are teachable. So let's make your future business promotion video podcast a living lab. You can use it then to test your ideas and build a business that truly is resilient, because you're never running out of ideas and you will always have the next pain points of your clients to solve. Until next time, happy creating reorganized according to your vision of life.
Do you want to start your own side business as a runway for your better future? Then you will benefit from our free business readiness quiz as linked in the show notes. Are you a small business owner and want to create sustainable marketing and sales content? Try video podcasting about your service or product, like I do in my postdoc transformation show. I'm a mom of 2 kids in school and a professor, and I have no time to lose running my business. And if you also want to save time and energy, use our Dovetail Evergreen strategy. You can easily derive countless valuable social media content from just one video podcast episode. You can quickly attract a broad audience across many social media platforms and then nurture them into leads and clients in their ears and emails while you live according to your vision of life. Let me teach you Creating Reorganized. If you're ready to dive in and start your own podcasting journey, I highly recommend checking out the tools I mentioned earlier: Podbean, Descript, Typeform, ActiveCampaign, Thinkific, and Metricool. Each of these services has made my podcasting business experience smoother and more efficient, and I trust that they can help you too. Thank you for listening to our Creating Reorganized show. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, share it with your business friends, and leave a review on your favorite podcast player. Your feedback helps me as a small business owner to serve more small business owners for free, so thank you. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, and now I wish you a happy creating reorganized according to your vision of life.